All right, like Magnus mentioned, my name is Johan Hedberg. I'm a head of sales for Europe, rest of the world for sport and cargo carriers, packs, bags, and luggage, and active with kids. And what I'm going to take you through today is the biggest product category that we have, which is sport and cargo carriers. This accounts for about 2/3 of the Thule Group sales. So this is by far the biggest category and the most important one. When we look at this category, we divide it into 4 different subsets. We got bike racks, we got roof racks, boxes and baskets, and these 3 are really the lion's share of the business. And then we also have some sport, some winter sport and water sport carriers as well. This is a category where we, year on year, we've had a very stable growth, and we are the clear number 1 in the world. And why am I then so confident that we're going to continue to be number 1 in the world? Well, we are more than 50% of the market. And that is a great feeling, let me tell you, that half of all the people that spend their money on these products, they trust us and our brand. And we have everything in place to continue to be successful, like Magnus has been talking about. We have the right products, we have great brands that we pour more money into, and we have a very, very good supply chain. Now, as you've seen out there, and some of the questions that I got in the break as well is, well, with all of these exciting categories that we're getting into, one question that I get, are we really going to focus on this category as much? And I can assure you, with 65% of the company, we will continue to focus on this. This is the biggest and the most important category. Every day when I wake up, and the rest of the sales force with me, this is what we start by thinking about. One of the things that make it a little bit easier to be number 1 is that we clearly have the best products on the market. There's absolutely no doubt in my mind about this. We outperform in the ease of use. We test the products harder. We have more tougher test criteria and safety criteria of our products than our competitors. And that creates in itself, as we sell in 140 markets, barriers to entry for our competitors. It's not easy to pass all these tests in all these markets, like TÜV tests, like the City Crash test, and so forth. So we feel very, very good here. Another thing to keep in mind that we are a group of very, very competitive individuals. And as you can see here, I just have a few of those tests that we've been winning in the last 12 months. We count winning these tests, being number 2 and number 3, or an honorable mention. That is just a huge disappointment to us. We want to win. We're in it to win every single time. Whether that is a trade show test, is an end consumer test, or a magazine, we're in it to win. When we develop these products, we have global criteria. We have a global design concept. When we talk about safety, we have a global standard for that. But one thing that we have to think local is, of course, in sales. We sell in 140 countries. And you really have to understand these markets. Otherwise, you're not going to be number 1 like we are. So really understand the purchase patterns, trends, what people want to do in their spare time, and we really have to get in there in every single market of these to be the clear number 1. And that's what we have been doing for years. When we're looking at the different channels of distribution that we sell our products, we see some differences there. In the Americas team, for example, we come more from the outdoor. If you've had a chance to be in an REI store in the US, this is by far the biggest and the best outdoor retailer in the world. If you take an XXL in the Nordic countries, you take a Beaver Sport in Holland, and you take a Globetrotter in Germany, you kind of fuse those together, then you dial it up a couple of notches, and you have an REI. And we've been winning the Vendor of the Year award there a few times there. So we are very, very strong in the outdoor trade in the Americas. In Europe, we come a little bit more from the automotive side, and there is some logic to that. Some of these products, or all of them actually, you attach to the car. So there is some logic to that. But we see another trend, and that is that more and more people, they want to buy their racks where they buy, for example, their bike. So we are going more into the bike channel. We also see that people want to buy their ski rack where they buy their skis. It all makes sense. So we are seeing trends and opening up some other channels in Europe as well. Another thing that we're doing to maintain and to expand this number one position is really to help the trade to be more successful. And you've seen some tidbits of this out here in the break room. This is the new merchandising retail concept that we're launching. We've been doing this for a number of years, but now we take it up a notch to be even more competitive. This is a global concept, but it's executed locally, of course. One thing that we see is that, as a global leader, that we have to embrace the omni-channel reality. And as the market leader, we have been doing this for a number of years. This is nothing new to us. We're selling very well both with brick and mortars in the omni-channel and also to pure onliners. So up here, if you look at the Thule partners, for example, this happens to be one of the best shops in Europe, in Prague, in the Czech Republic. There, in this type of store, like a Thule partner, we go in with a great display program, we educate the floor personnel, we come in with structured planograms so that the consumers have a great selection of products to choose from. If we go to the other side of the spectrum, we have Amazon at the bottom right. We do quite well with them as well, but we have to help them to be successful with our brands. So there, obviously, we deliver A-plus content, A-plus content, it product movies, it texts. We also have a seamless integration of our buyer's guide where you can go in and select your product, select the product that's going to fit on your car. Also, we want to inform, of course, the end consumer, and Thule.com is the platform for that. We have 80 specific country sites and 24 different languages. And quite honestly, in our industry, in sports and cargo carriers, there is no one that's even close to that. We are the clear leader here as well. Now, regardless of which customer we are selling to or doing business with, we see one trend, and that is that the customers, they're expecting more and more from us. They are not willing to take as much stock risk. They want to have more flexible ordering tools. They want to be able to place their orders later in the day and still be sure that the product is shipping the next day. And we are very much on top of this as well. We have upgraded our entire distribution center setup all over the world, the Americas, Europe, and in Asia, with no hiccups whatsoever. The only thing the customers they've noticed is that they get a faster, better, and more reliable service for us. So we will continue to push this to be the clear leader here as well and achieve these supply chain efficiencies that we have started here a few years ago. In summary, it's very, very simple what we want to do. We want to strengthen the number one global position that we have. It's as simple as that. And how we're going to do that, we're going to out-innovate our competitors like we've been doing for years. We're going to enhance our tools and support to the retail. We're going to load the Thule brand with even more emotion than we've done in the past. And we're going to continue to drive these efficiency gains. Okay. Up next, I'm going to hand it over to Fred, who's going to take you through another very exciting product category, and that's packs, bags, and luggage. Here you go, Fred.
Thank you, Johan. My name is Fred Clark, and I've been with the Thule Group since 1993. And to steal a Magnus term, it's been a fantastic journey. And I really look forward to the upcoming parts where we have a lot of excitement. So I'm going to talk to you today about the packs, bag, and luggage category. And when we look at this, we break this into 4 different subcategories. The first one, the first 2 actually are businesses that we acquired when we did the acquisition of Case Logic in 2007. And we call the first one, Legacy and OE Bags business. And Legacy and OE Bags are the traditional categories that Case Logic was strong in. As we said before, it's the DVD and CD holders, all the media storage devices. That's a category that's declined. It's camera bags, a category that's changed. And then OE. And OE for us is original equipment. And this is bags that we had made for manufacturers of other products that use a bag to carry their product into. Second category we're talking about are smaller everyday bags. And these are mostly backpacks and bags that students or professionals would use to carry products with them to work or to school. The two new categories that developed for us that we see quite a bit of opportunity are our luggage, which we've just really started launching into this year, and we'll talk more about that. And then fourth one for us is the sport and outdoor bags. And these are bags that are either used to carry your products with you, your bikes or your skis with you when you want to go somewhere, or more recently, some technical backpacks and hiking backpacks that you'll use when you're in the outdoors. It's not fun to talk about, but as Magnus showed earlier on, there's one chart that had red on it, and that had to do with the bags category, and really has been most affected by North America and the U.S. specifically. And a lot of that is because these categories are much bigger there, and they're the ones that are declining. So when we look at these subcategories and what's driving that, camera bags we now feel have stabilized. That's been a huge decline, but that's stabilized. We're starting to see that bottom out, and we expect that to be slow growth over the future. The big category for us here, these media storage devices, DVDs and CDs, and electronic hardware storage devices, that category is declining. And it's going to continue to decline, we know that. We haven't declined as bad as other people because we have what we've termed this approach last man standing. So as these categories consolidate and retailers want to carry less product and onliners want to carry less product, we're the dominant leader there. We maintain our share on that, and some of the secondary players have fallen off. So while it's a declining category, we haven't done quite as bad as the market on that. And then the last one in this category that we're talking about are OE cases. And these will be bags that you might use for a CPAP machine, for sleep apnea, or for oxygen tank that you want to carry. We're making these bags and designing them for OEs to carry their product. It's declined for us a little bit, and we're looking at it mostly in the medical field and a little bit in the automotive field. We will stay in this category. We want to do well in this, but we're going to fight this one very hard. This is going to be more of a margin improvement. That's our focus there, and we're willing to step away from some businesses that are lower retail price points or lower margin. It's a focus for us for margin improvement. The other category that was a traditional came to us with Case Logic, or what we call those small bags and backpacks. And this area for us, we use a dual brand strategy. So we have Thule as the premium brand, the premium price point, and we use the Case Logic brand for mid-price point segment of that. We want to cover both of those. We use the brands to deal with that. It's an area that's done fairly well in Europe, in Asia, and Latin America, but we haven't done as well in the U.S. as we would like to do. We've recently, in the last 6 to 12 months, have made a lot of changes into that category. We've brought in some salespeople that came in from some of our competitors to help us grow into that. It's an area that we feel we're underperforming and a big opportunity for us in the U.S. This is a category that's going to have slow, steady growth. These are always being used, always being needed, and we project that going forward. Another category for us that has good, continued, steady growth is what we're calling these sport and outdoor bags. This is a category that, when you look at technical backpacks, which is one of the biggest segments of this, has huge dominant global player, Osprey, who's a tough competitor out there, who has strong market share, and we have some strong regional players. This is also a category that it takes a time to change over. If you have a Hogloss or a Fall Raven pack that you've used for 6 or 7 years, it's going to last you a couple more. So the turnover isn't that long. And the experience talking to somebody who has a pack for a while hasn't been there. But we've worked very hard in this category. We've developed a lot of products. You saw earlier on a lot of award-winning products. We're getting good recognition, and it's a category that we think we can do well in. We've just completed our portfolio of products after the technical backpacks by launching this year bike hydration packs, which is a key component of that, and pulled out our hiking backpacks. So it's an area for us that we see strong opportunities at. We see a good way to go. But as Magnus had said earlier, we got to be patient on this. This is a long, slow burn, but a great opportunity. It's a good category and has decent growth. The category next that has huge growth and a huge category compared to everything else we're talking about is luggage. And when we're talking about luggage for us, we're looking at travel bags in the luggage market. It's a 250 billion, a 260 billion SEK market, so it's a huge market, the total category. The area that we're going to focus on for the Thule brand, and this is all Thule brand, should have said that before, sorry, is going to be the premium segment of that, which is the business bags and premium travel bags. That's a huge category. That's 80 billion SEK. Huge market for us, huge opportunity for us to go after. The other things we like about this, it's spread evenly around the world. The markets are almost even, a third in Asia, a third in Europe, and a third in North America. So it's a nice split for that. All markets are important. All markets are doing well. It's an area we see people traveling more. We see them going after that. So when we started looking at what do we want to do in the luggage category and in the technical pack category and sport and travel bags, we've kind of changed our organization internally. So as the old legacy products have declined and we've kind of shrunk our resources into that area, we've put more resources into these areas. So between category managers, between product managers and developers, between designers and sourcing people, we've hired people from the industry. So we have people that have worked at Gregory, at Mountainsmith, at Toomey, at Briggs & Riley, and they've joined our company seeing what the opportunity is and thinking it's a big part for them. So we've put the resource to develop this. These are long lead time items. I mean, we've been working on backpacks for, we started launching it in 13, so a year and a half before that we started working on that. We'll continue to do that. Luggage is the one that we're just starting to go after. We've been working on that for a couple of years, 2 or 3 years, and it's a great opportunity for us, and I'm happy to say we've had a first start successful launch. We launched, as you saw in the back here, the Subterra line of luggage recently, just this year. We are now in over 50 countries. We have presence in important retailers like Le Cordon Inglés or in the US, Nordstrom's and Dillard's. So we're starting to get good placement on that. We've got huge PR, good recognition on this. So this is a category, again, that we see a great opportunity, but also a category with big players. We have what we would say in the US is Samsonite, the 800-pound gorilla. They're a big player. They're a 25 billion SEK company. They have a lot of different brands. They compete into that. So we're going after some strong people, both globally and then regionally with Rimowa and Victorinox and Briggs & Riley. But again, we see this as a great opportunity. We've launched a line of luggage. We have a lot more in the pipeline. We've got some great looks and some great styles, and we're excited about the opportunity here. So with day packs being a big market and growth, and luggage being a huge market, it's our ambition level here to become a serious contender in luggage and day pack market. These are categories we're going to go after. We want to do well. But at the same time, we're going to continue to manage the legacy and OE products. We're going to grow in the relevant sport and outdoor product categories, and we want to ensure that we have good margin improvement continuing here. So thank you. And with that, I will hand it back to Magnus to talk about Active with Kids.
Thank you, Fred. Luggage is a fantastic size of category and very exciting, and we're now going to talk about one of the other exciting large categories that we're going after in a serious way. And similar to luggage, it's the long game. You can't think that one stroller or one collection of luggage will do it for you. You're going to need to have several, and you're going to need to do it over several number of years. So to tell you a little bit about then the category of Active with Kids. Only 8% of our sales, but with 48% of growth, you realize that this will become fast bigger. We really split it into 3 categories. The 2 we are already in, the smaller ones, in its total sense of global market size, of child bike seats and multi-sport trailers, where we already are number 1 in the world in multi-sport trailers, and one of the top 3 in child bike seats. But strollers, of course, is the huge market, and that's the one where we have now our eyes set on serious growth in the long term. And if you look at it, I mentioned this already before, but one thing that is key here, people are prepared to spend money on their products for their children. People are prepared to do choices based on the best. And so what is truly great match with a company that is great doing great products is people appreciate it. You need test wins. You need to be trendy. And here already with the launches we've done in the category, we've created a presence in the juvenile channel by being so successful with these new products that we have launched in the recent years. And similar to what Johan was talking about in sport and cargo carriers, this is a category where there's extreme testing requirements. There are standards that are different in the US than in Sweden, than in Germany, than in France, than in Asia. And we, with our global high testing standards, are testing to all those levels and therefore can bring products on a global scale, which is, of course, a strength if you want to play in these categories. Let's remember how we entered this category. We entered actually via an acquisition. So many years ago, actually already at the time when I was asked if I want to become the CEO, I had a plan with Active with Kids. So you might think I'm slow, we're just now presenting it as a category. But that plan could be triggered with a quicker start thanks to an acquisition that came when we contacted the leading player in multisport, because multisport was the closest to the Thule brand, and this company, which was then called Chariot Carriers Inc., a Canadian company, was the leader in every triathlete in the world that had these things. We bought the company, and what the position was, it was for these parents. Right? I'm out there to train hard. I'm not just out there to train. I'm out there to train hard for the Ironman, for the thing. So all the imagery, all the styling. Actually, the product could be used brilliantly in an everyday life, but the positioning was for the ultra athlete. What we did this year when we launched the newly designed Thule-styled version of these multisport trailers that have been the biggest driver for the 50% growth year to date was that we actually have all the same features left. It's actually even a better running and biking product than it used to be for the super athlete. But styling-wise and presentation-wise, we now make it more for every parent, because not everybody wants to train for an Ironman. But you want to have the flexibility to bike to a place, put on the stroller wheels, and have a little bit of a stroll for a nice lunch break, right? So that positioning and the styling and making it easier to click in car seats and many other things that you can do is a mental game as much as a reality functionality game. That tactical step, of course, is key when we now broaden our Active with Kids category. In 2014, we launched our first child bike seats. It made sense. Why? Because we are a great player in the bike category. So we were already distributing bike carriers and other things. We had a distribution connection. We knew the retailers. And adding then a child bike seat made sense since we had entered anyway with a bike trailer as well. And we came into the category. And then last year, by the acquisition, once again, a tactical strategic fit acquisition, relatively small player on the big scale of things, but within child bike seats, a big player with the Yep brand. We, I think personally, by no short means we have the best product portfolio in the world in child bike seats. We can do it on the front, on the back, in styling and everything. A fantastic product offer in child bike seats. And already the acquisition is paying off with good growth. We've rebranded the products. We won a lot of awards. So also here, creating, as you see on the styling, also a bit more of a styled product. Not just a functional child bike seat, but actually something that a cool-looking juvenile store would want to display as well. Then we took the step into in-house developed stroller. So when we did that, we have always preached logic. You do things in a logical order. Don't skip 4 steps on the journey. Do it in a logical order. And the logical order for doing a stroller for the Thule brand was to do a stroller for the super athlete once again, for those that connected with the Thule brand. So we did the Thule Glide. It is the best running stroller out there. There is no doubt. All the records, all the voting, all the prizes, this is the world's best running stroller. But let's be honest, not that many people are only out training hard. That lady, for example, she's won ÖTÖ, any Swede knows that, about 5 times in a row. These are serious athletes once again, so they really run. It's not a jogging stroller, this is a running stroller. Very niche though, extremely niche. So already at the launch in 2014, we did an urban version for the more everyday person. And what we did when we presented it to the Urban Glide, then you had a pivoting front wheel that you could lock when you ran, but you could also swivel with it. It was a bit toned down, not as big wheels, a little bit more practical. but our own positioning, once again, more than the functionality, because functionality was actually an everyday stroller, we presented it as a sports stroller because it made sense for people that we came from sport. Now, when you look at this, the unfortunate part, you think we didn't know this, but we actually did know that this market that we've attacked so far in strollers is about 7-8% of the total stroller market. So it might sound idiotic. Why are you attacking only 8% and leaving 92 open? But it is logical from where the brand came. We wanted the brand recognition. We wanted an opportunity to knock on the door on the juvenile store and say, oh, you don't have any good strollers for jogging. I know that. Look at ours. And we could get some space, and we could get to know retail, and we could get to know the consumer. Always having a plan for the long game, which was there is 92% still to fight for there in the stroller market. Because what we're now going to attack, and showed for the first time 1 week ago at the world's biggest child fair, Linden, is the big stroller market. So if you look at the big stroller market out there, it's not as big as the huge luggage market, but it is a 25 billion SEK market. But similar to luggage, we're not going to play in all those cheap rickety umbrella stroller world. That's not us as a brand. So when we target the true, more premium strollers, it's still a 10 billion SEK market. Similar question we're going to get, like we are going to get to luggage. Oh, but there is the Timis, we're going to get, but there are the bugaboos. Yes, we know. But we think, honestly, that playing in the long game in the right way and being really good at developing products, we will be able to play. And in fact, several of these brands weren't existing 15 years in this category. So Bugaboo, 15 years old, Jules, 9 years old, and they are now the leaders, which shows that this is, of any of the categories, a category that if you do it right, you can, as a newcomer, over a 5 to 10 year period, really become the players. And that's our long-term haul. We're not doing one new stroller. We didn't just do the one we showed at the fair. We already have several others in development to become a serious contender. So the first tactical step was we took the Thule Urban Glide, a already successful sports stroller. We then improved its daily use functionality. So one of those daily use things is how often do you put in a bassinet and take it off and put on the seat? How often do you put a car seat and things like that? We improved that. So it was more suitable for everyday use. And at the same time, we also styled it more to everyday city center look. And at the same time, we chose new photography. And we rolled out the Thule Urban Glide 2 at Linden last week. So what we do now is, it's actually still a brilliant jogging and sports stroller. But if you look at how you click in car seats, how you put the bassinet when you have a small one, all of those things are easier and better. We style it more, and the whole perception, imagery, storyline around is this is a very comfortable three-wheel stroller for walking around in the city. Because that then opens up for the big new launch, which is the biggest category out there, the true four-wheel stroller category. And we unveiled then at Linden, to a lot of attention to media, our Thule Sleek, the first four-wheel city stroller that we've done. And what we've done is, in our opinion, of course, but also with a lot of interest, the most flexible and compact four-wheel stroller there is. So what we're saying as a little bit of a tagline, flexibility without commitment. So I'll help you out. You don't need to plan for 2 kids like Swedes do, because in most other countries they don't. But you can get 2 kids very close by because you can bring 2 kids with you. So the same model that looks like a great stroller as a single stroller becomes a really nice looking, practical, and most compact in the market stadium seating sibling stroller. And of course, you can also have a bassinet part, and so it can work with you in many different styles. So here you're talking more styling, you're more talking inner city look, it's a lot of design, but we, as an active brand, of course, are positioning things. So like if you look at those inner things on the wheels, in our case, they are reflective. So you can walk in the middle of the dark Swedish weather, and all the wheels, it doesn't only have a design feature, it actually has a practical feature as well. So if you look at how the wheels are made, how the suspension is made, we're still staying very true to the Thule design language. If you look at the way we've done extrusions, etc., it's done with the Thule design language. This stroller will be manufactured in our new Polish plant that we are investing in during this year. So we will do a combined way of doing our sourcing on strollers. Some will be made in our own factory, and some models we will source from suppliers. But once again, it's not only this model. Of course, as we said in Luggage, there's already development ongoing for those that we will launch in the coming years, because to be a true serious contender, you need 5, 6 types of strollers and 5, 6, 7 types of luggage collections. Not something you do in one day, but where we already are investing and doing it for the future. So this is a very exciting category, and I am now being caught by my wife saying it maybe the mother of this child is looking a little bit awkward because you're a 50-year-old staring at everybody's stroller out there. But as a glorified product manager, as my board members claim sometimes, this is something we have been looking at very seriously for a few years and have some exciting products to come also in coming years. So our ambition, very simply within Active with Kids, is we have a long term. We don't do it in 1 year or not in 2 or 3. It will take 5 to 10 years, but we will become a serious contender in the very big stroller market. But we will also make sure, similar to what Fred said, we're not going to leave the other parts. We will continue to innovate and do great things in the multi-sport trailer to continue to be the #1 in multi-sport trailers, as we already are. We will continue to tweak and do things in the child bike seats. We will already actually, we are already in the juvenile channel around the world, but we will need to establish ourselves even more if we look at the new stroller segment. And considering what we're doing with the combination of some in-house assembled strollers and some sourced, and doing the child bike seats ourselves, etc., there's a lot of work we have been doing already for some years, and we will continue to do to improve the efficiency in our supply chain for this category. So with that, we're going to go to the other fantastic growing category in the first 6 months, and I'm going to let Filip talk about RV products.
Thank you, Magnus. Very excited to be here, and good morning to everybody. Having joined this company 8 years ago, I have been with a very focused and a highly experienced RV team driving this business forward, constantly outperforming on the market, driving profitable sales, and gaining market share. In a very hot RV season, where in the European market 2016-2017, new sales of motorhomes are up close to 14%, caravans up close to 5%, we have been growing our business in the first 6 months of the year with 31%. That is clearly doing much better than the market does. In a very selective, high-featured premium product portfolio, we can group our products into 3 categories. The first one, being our biggest one, is the awnings for motorhomes and caravans, which is basically providing shading, sun and rain protection to the consumers, which can be extended with tents, rooms and panels to even create a bigger private space. Secondly, very key to us is our bike racks for RVs, which can be mounted on the back of a caravan or on the back of a motorhome or on the front of a caravan. And thirdly, a group of products which are there to increase consumer comfort, consumer security, i.e. entry steps or door lock solutions and any other product. This picture that you see here is probably illustrating best the kind of products that we are bringing into the market and the kind of world of RVing that we are active in. Our key focus has been on the more premium European market, where consumers are interested and willing to pay for better features, high quality, easier to use, and a fully integrated best design with their vehicles. Focusing on Europe really has brought us high value sales profitable. The North American market has not been our key focus. where consumers are showing a lesser interest in highly featured premium products, and where price has been one of the prime motivators for selling products. It's important to point out that our products needs to be installed because they need to be perfectly fit on the vehicle. And that's also a way that we work closely in partnership with very specialized RV retailers or with the RV manufacturers all over the world. Being a cyclical market, the European RV market is still recovering from the significant decline which happened in 2008, 2009 after the financial crisis. It has been flattening off for the following 5 years to a much lower level, and it's an exciting to see that over the last 2 or 3 years, this market has been coming strongly back up. Mainly driven by the motorhomes, which have been growing very fast, and you see that on the blue line over there, where smaller vehicles, we call that the camper vans, have been growing rapidly. Also, consumers are still very interested. At the latest caravan salon in Düsseldorf in Germany, which is the world's biggest RV consumer fair, we had a record number of visitors, up 14% versus last year, where 1/3 are actually for the first time entering and visiting that. The other element that we also see is that we have starting to see a younger group, younger family with kids, which are for the first time or starting to show a real interest in these products. However, it is not likely that the European RV market will continue to grow at the pace that is going at this moment of time, given the very hot season that we had over the last 2 years. But one thing I can assure you, whatever happens, we will do better and growing faster than that market, as we have proven to do over the last 8 years. How? By being consistent in branding, by even being more proactive with our key accounts, and by, as we said before, product is king, by even bringing truly new innovative products into the market. Over the last 5 years, we have truly renewed for 95% all our products. We upgraded them, we innovated them, and we renewed them. We also planning in the coming future to basically also step into new geographies or into new assortments in these segments where we believe with our premium products that we can successfully sell these products. And also in this category, we have been highly valued by consumers. For example, being awarded by the 2 leading RV magazines in Europe as being the best in our core products, awnings and RV bike carriers. Furthermore, we are uniquely positioned to trend with that growing trend of smaller vehicles, the camper vans, as we are the only company which can bring a complete Thule offer. Combining the products that Johan has presented, our sports and cargo carriers, with some unique RV products to basically bring a solution which perfectly fit with the camper vans. This is a concept that we have launched and presented for the first time last year at the caravan salon in Düsseldorf. And I can tell you the reaction from both the consumer and trade has been exceptionally strong. We are really the only one which have the capacity and the ability to do that. To summarize, we will continue, and I'm very confident in that, to outpace the market. If the market goes up, we will grow faster. If there would be a decline, we will decline less. We will continue to outperform and out-innovate on our competition. Product is king. We will continue to strengthen our relationships that we have with our key accounts, being specialized RV retailers and the RV manufacturers. And we will tactically widen geography, as I said before, and assortment. And as Martin said in the first part of the presentation, we will be very flexible in managing any kind of market scenario which may happen to us. But again, one thing, as I said before, we will do better when the market goes up, and we will do lesser when the market declines. With that, and being here very excited for the last 2 hours what has been presented to you, I hand it over to Leonard which will drive you through the financials.